You're with Breakfast. Thanks for the pleasure and privilege of your company. We all know the tech world is advancing fast. We've been talking about this earlier this morning with Martin. Over the last decade, we saw the evolution of the smartphone and social media, with giants like Facebook and Instagram becoming a regular part of our daily lives. Some would say an invasive and excessive part of our daily lives, but that's subjective, I guess. So what advancements can we expect in 2020 and this decade? Chief Executive and Futurist at Gorilla Technology, Paul Spain, is here to tell us just that. Morning, Paul. Lovely to Happy New Year. Nice to have you with us. Well, it's like you coming to the studio. Tell me about your watch. What's that? What's going on there?
This one's an Apple Watch. I've turned it off so it doesn't interrupt us in the studio.
If it did interrupt, what would it do?
It might hear what we're saying, and then the AI, not being quite as perfect as it should be, could jump in and think I'm asking for assistance.
And how do you feel about Apple hearing what you're saying? You're not troubled by that, clearly, because you're wearing the watch.
Well, for me, I think it's important to be testing and getting a feel for where the technology is going. So I'm not saying that everybody should have an AI assistant in their home or wear a watch, but if you are comfortable with it and you control that, so you turn it off when you don't want it on, right?
Yeah.
So you control where technology fits into your space, but we all need to be looking ahead. I think we all need to be futurists to a degree and looking further out. How can we utilise technology to improve our lives, to change our economy, to deal with the issues that we have as a nation? How do we address poverty? How do we address climate change things? Technology is moving at this incredible pace. So I look back to when I left school. Technology improvement, we've got 1,000 times increase in computing power, 1,000,000 times increase in internet connectivity power. Our brains are moving at the same pace, so we've got to utilise this as we move forward.
This is extraordinary, isn't it? And we're going to talk about the pace of change, but over my adult life, it has been remarkable. My first job involved a telex machine, and then there was faxes. This is pre-internet, and suddenly we're talking about, is our speed fast enough? Where are we heading? Given the extraordinary pace of change thus far, have we gone as far? Oh, that's a stupid question. Of course we haven't. Where there's money to be made, there'll always be people trying to make it. But where are we going in 2020, do you think?
Well, this year I see that 5G will really become pretty mainstream around New Zealand, but it's not just 5G. That connectivity everywhere. So we're already seeing it in our planes. There's new satellite that's just launched, which will mean those people in far-reaching places of New Zealand that haven't had connectivity before will be able to get connectivity as good as what we had in cities before fibre arrived. So there's those improvements. I think businesses will be utilising sort of automation technologies a lot more to maybe do away with a bit of the drudgery. But on the flip side, there's all these benefits to us. On the flip side, cybersecurity issues are probably going to ramp up because the cyber criminals are working out smarter and smarter ways of how to extract $1 out of us.
And also how to commit acts of sabotage, right? And actually earlier in the program we had an Iran expert on, and we were talking about Iran's response to the American assassination of Soleimani, and he said one of the possible Iranian responses is some kind of cyber attack. So all of this is becoming part of our future, right? And in fact part of our present. It's funny, the other day I got on a plane and there was Wi-Fi on it. I used to quite like not being connected to the world.
I agree.
Yeah. So how do we control it? How do we get this balance right?
Well, I think that's up to individuals, up to families. It is a challenge, and when we look ahead, if there aren't some changes, we don't, we maybe don't become a bit more disciplined. We don't, educate ourselves better. We may need legislation to change this. There's a lot of power in the hands of Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, for instance. He gamifies this, addiction to the Facebook screen, and they've been doing some experiments with sort of, turning off, turning off the number of likes you've got on a post on Instagram and so on. These things actually are important because they can have a big impact.
Well, the dopamine hit, right? Yeah, absolutely. Right, one final question. What is it? Is there anything that you are particularly excited about that you're saying, look out for this? This is going to be amazing, or have we kind of got all that stuff?
I think we've heard a lot about it. I'm very interested in autonomous technology as it applies to vehicles. And not just cars, although I've been on a road trip the last few days in a Tesla and just getting a feel because their software is constantly updating, just like on your iPhone. And so they've got technology now where as you enter an on-ramp, you can basically hand over control to the car. Now, not entirely, you've got to keep your hands on the wheel and you're still a responsible person, but the vehicle will, change lanes accordingly and will navigate you all the way to the next off-ramp, on your destination. And then the electric technology that's in those cars will be coming to flight as well. So we'll see, effectively drones that carry people and aeroplanes that need much less maintenance. They're much more efficient because they're using electric technology. So there's a lot ahead, I think.
It's absolutely fascinating. As you always are when you come into the studio. Thanks, Paul. We really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Nice to see you, Paul Spain.
I'd hate to have to drive a car that you've got your hands on the wheel but you're not doing anything.
I look forward to the day when you can turn your seat around and chat to your passenger.
Yeah, that's different, right?
Read a book or do something. And it just does it all for you. And
but it does improve safety right now because it's looking out for those things. So it's certainly a step forward than just having.
You could have your hands on the wheel and go and have a little nap, though, couldn't you?
Well, it does happen, right? And people die with that at the moment.
Yeah.
So this technology at the moment, I think will lead to a reduction in the road toll over the coming years.
And lots of people will increasingly already have cars that correct you if you start to drift across the lane without indicating. So there's all of that technology is already coming, right?
Stay with us. Oh man, the future is here.
And it will be here too after the break.
Who's in the Bible?